For many people over 60, the same quiet message keeps repeating in different ways. Of course you feel weaker, that's just your age. When muscle cramps, restless legs, or bad nights appear, the suggestion is often simple and incomplete. Take some magnesium before bed, at least you'll sleep. It sounds reasonable, but it hides a dangerous idea, that all you can do now is soften the discomfort, not actually protect or rebuild your strength. The truth inside your body is far more hopeful. Even after 60, your muscles are not switched off. They are living tissue that still listens to every signal you send, especially at night. While you sleep, your body does some of its most important repair work. The question is not, can my muscles rebuild? The question is, what kind of environment am I giving my muscles while I sleep? Think for a moment about how your nights and mornings feel right now. Maybe you lie down tired and wake up just as tired, as if the night didn't really fix anything. Perhaps walking up a small hill leaves your legs heavier than it used to, even though you are sleeping enough hours. You might notice that after a slightly more active day, your muscles stay sore longer than before, or that getting out of low chairs has become a small internal negotiation. None of this appears overnight. It is the visible face of a slow process called age-related muscle loss. Your body starts to dismantle muscle a little faster and rebuild it a little slower. If on top of that, you are missing key nutrients, your sleep becomes a pause without real repair. You close your eyes, but your muscles are working with an empty toolbox. This change doesn't only affect your legs in the gym, it reaches every corner of daily life. Climbing stairs becomes a task you think about before doing. Standing up from the couch may require using your hands. Carrying groceries feels like something you need to prepare for. Even walking across a parking lot or crossing a street can trigger a quiet worry. What if I can't speed up if I need to? That anxiety influences the choices you make. You say no to some invitations. You move a little less. You adjust your plans to the distance you believe your body can handle. Over time, your world becomes smaller than your desire to live it. There is also a more intimate side to all of this. When you don't trust your own strength, it is harder to feel free, playful, or confident with someone else. Vitality in maturity is not just hormones or lab values. It is the feeling that your body is on your team, not something you have to constantly negotiate with. Magnesium enters this story because it does something genuinely useful. It helps muscles relax, supports the nervous system, and can improve sleep quality when there is a deficiency. Many people feel fewer night cramps or a calmer mind when they take magnesium in the evening. That is real and important. However, when we look specifically at preserving muscle mass and strength after 60, magnesium is more like a stage assistant than the main architect. It helps lower the noise, dim the lights, and calm the nervous system so the body can rest. But the deeper decisions about whether muscle is rebuilt or lost rely on other elements. If you depend only on magnesium to save your muscles, you might end up with slightly better nights, but the same slow decline in strength. That is where 3 quiet but powerful vitamins come in. They are not exciting headlines in the way magnesium often is, but they sit closer to the actual machinery of muscle preservation. These are vitamin D3, vitamin B12, and vitamin K2. Think of them as part of your night crew. While you sleep, they help decide how effectively your body uses protein, how clearly nerves communicate with muscles, and how stable the structure around your muscles remains. They don't replace movement or good food, and they are not magic pills. But when they are missing, your muscles struggle no matter how much you walk, stretch, or try to sleep well. When they are present in healthy amounts, every healthy habit you already have is amplified. Let's start with vitamin D3. Most people know it as the sunshine vitamin for bones, but its influence goes much further. Your skin produces vitamin D when sunlight hits it. With age, that production declines. At the same time, many people spend more time indoors, use more sun protection on the skin that is exposed, and may absorb less vitamin D from food. The result is very simple. Low vitamin D levels are extremely common after 60. Inside your muscles, vitamin D is one of the signals that tells cells how to handle calcium and how to regulate growth and repair. When vitamin D is low, muscle fibers can become weaker and coordination can suffer. You might feel this as difficulty rising from a chair, slower walking, or a tendency to shuffle instead of taking confident steps. Vitamin D3 is also deeply connected to balance. The muscles around your hips, thighs, and core need clear instructions to keep you upright, especially when you move quickly, walk on uneven ground, or react to a small trip. Low vitamin D has been associated with reduced strength in these areas and a higher risk of falls. When levels improve in people who were deficient, their response to strength exercises and protein intake improves as well. It is as if the body was receiving a blurry message before and suddenly switches to a sharper, clearer signal. That is why so many specialists today treat vitamin D as a central piece of healthy muscle aging, not just a bone nutrient. Nighttime is one of the moments when vitamin D silently supports you the most. While you sleep, your body rebuilds muscle tissue using amino acids from the food you ate during the day. Hormones involved in growth and repair rise and fall in natural waves. If your vitamin D level is healthy, those signals can act effectively. If it is low, your nightly repair work is trying to do the best it can with missing instructions. You don't need to swallow vitamin D at a specific minute before bed for it to help at night. What matters is that, across your 24 hours, your body has enough vitamin D circulating. Many people find it convenient to take vitamin D3 with their evening meal, especially if that meal contains healthy fats that improve absorption. The exact dose should always be guided by a health professional who knows your history, but the concept is universal. Going to sleep with adequate vitamin D in your system is like turning on the correct blueprint for muscle and bone repair. Now let's talk about vitamin B12, which plays a very different but equally essential role. If vitamin D is one of the permissions for growth, vitamin B12 is part of the electrical and oxygen wiring. B12 is necessary for producing healthy red blood cells that carry oxygen to tissues, for maintaining the protective covering around nerves, and for making new DNA in rapidly renewing cells. When B12 is low, the messages that run from your brain to your muscles can become slow, distorted, or weak. At the same time, the delivery of oxygen to muscle cells becomes less efficient. The combination is subtle but powerful. Muscles feel less responsive and fatigue more quickly. People over 60 are particularly vulnerable to B12 deficiency for several reasons. The stomach produces less acid, which B12 needs for absorption from food. The production of intrinsic factor, a special protein that carries B12 through the gut wall, may decrease. Medications commonly used in maturity, such as some diabetes drugs and acid-reducing drugs, can further interfere with B12 absorption. Because this happens slowly, the symptoms can be confusing: tingling or numbness in the feet, a sensation of walking on cotton or sand instead of solid ground, balance problems, unexplained weakness, or a general sense of heaviness and fatigue. It is easy to blame all of that on just age, when in reality the nervous system and muscles are trying to function without enough B12. Correcting a B12 deficiency is one of the most effective ways to remove a hidden brake on muscle performance. Under professional guidance, B12 can be replaced with tablets, dissolving lozenges, or injections, depending on the cause and severity of the lack. As levels are restored, many people notice that their steps become more secure, their legs respond more predictably, and their stamina improves. At night, when the nervous system is reorganizing and repairing connections from the day, having enough B12 on board means that this work can proceed with proper materials. You don't have to take B12 right before sleeping for it to be part of your bedtime strategy. What matters is that day after day, you are not going to bed with a nervous system trying to repair itself while short on one of its key vitamins. The third vitamin is less famous in conversations about muscle, but it deserves your attention if you care about aging well. Vitamin K2. Most people have heard of vitamin K in relation to blood clotting. However, certain forms of vitamin K, especially K2, also activate proteins that control where calcium ends up in your body. In simple terms, K2 helps guide calcium into bones and teeth and helps keep it away from arteries and soft tissues where it can create rigidity. For muscles, this matters in a very practical way. Your muscles attach to your skeleton, and they rely on a solid yet flexible frame to function safely. They also depend on blood vessels that can expand and contract smoothly to deliver oxygen and nutrients. When vitamin K2 and vitamin D3 work together, they help create a better environment for both bones and muscles. Vitamin D3 increases calcium absorption and supports muscle fibers. Vitamin K2 directs that calcium to bone and helps protect arteries from unwanted stiffness. For someone over 60, this partnership supports a foundation that is strong and elastic at the same time. Bones can handle the forces of walking, climbing, and turning. Blood vessels can adapt to changes in blood flow during activity and rest. This structural support indirectly influences how comfortable and safe it feels to move, and how well the body can deliver the materials needed for muscle repair at night. In addition, vitamin K has been linked in several studies to lower levels of chronic low-grade inflammation, which is one of the slow, silent forces that accelerates muscle loss with age. If you think of your body's nighttime repair process as a construction site, the picture becomes clearer. During the day, movement gives your body the blueprint. Strengthen here, maintain this, stabilize that. Protein from your meals delivers the bricks and beams. Magnesium, if you use it, helps quiet the noise so workers can focus. Vitamin D3, B12, and K2 are like 3 senior engineers standing over the plans. D3 makes sure the blueprint for muscle and bone is readable and active. B12 keeps the wiring and oxygen delivery stable, so instructions and resources arrive at the right time and place. K2 ensures that the structure around the muscle, bones, and vessels remains aligned with the project, not working against it. When those 3 are missing or low, workers are present, but instructions, electricity, and scaffolding are all compromised. When they are in place, even small amounts of daily effort can lead to meaningful changes. So, how do you translate all this science into something you can actually live? It helps to imagine a real evening. You have spent your day moving in the ways your situation allows. Perhaps a walk around the block, some time going up and down a few stairs, or a few minutes of simple leg exercises like sitting down and standing up from a sturdy chair. These small efforts send your muscles a clear message that they are still needed. In the evening, you eat a meal that includes a solid source of protein, such as fish, eggs, beans, tofu, yogurt, or lean meat. With that meal, under the guidance of your healthcare provider, you take your vitamin D3 and, if appropriate for you, a D3K2 combination. The healthy fats in your meal help those fat-soluble vitamins absorb. Later, perhaps an hour or 2 before bed, you might take a B12 tablet or lozenge if you have been diagnosed with low or borderline levels and a plan has been made with your doctor. You keep any late snack light and simple, maybe a spoonful of yogurt or a small handful of nuts, just enough to avoid going to bed hungry while not overloading your digestion. If magnesium has been helpful for your sleep or muscle relaxation, you can still use it here, but now as a calm assistant, not the only star. You dim the lights, give your mind and body signals that the day is ending, empty your bladder one last time, and lie down knowing that your night is not just hours passing. It is a shift where your muscles finally have both the reason and the tools to repair. To see how powerful these apparently small decisions can be, it helps to picture real people. Imagine a man of 68 who has quietly begun to fear stairs. Every flight feels like a test he might fail. His thighs burn, he has to pull strongly on the handrail, and he sometimes pretends to stop to check something on his phone, when, in truth, he is catching his breath. He already takes magnesium at night for cramps, which helps a little but does nothing for this growing fear. When his doctor checks his blood work, they find low vitamin D and a B12 level at the bottom of the normal range. Together, they design a plan. Vitamin D3 every day with the main meal, a period of B12 supplementation, a D3K2 combination a few days a week, more protein at dinner, and 1 or 2 sets of gentle chair stands each day. Months later, he still feels effort in his thighs when he climbs, but the panic is gone. He reaches the top without having to pretend to stop. He still takes magnesium, but now his body is working with deeper support. The stairs no longer symbolize decline, they symbolize participation. Now, imagine a woman of 72 who loves gardening. Her favorite place is the patch of soil where she grows herbs and flowers, yet lately she has felt unsteady on the uneven ground. There is a strange numbness in her feet, and she sometimes stumbles over small stones that never bothered her before. She starts avoiding the furthest corners of the garden because she is afraid of falling when there is no one around. Tests show low vitamin D, a clear B12 deficiency, and a diet that does not provide much vitamin K2. Her healthcare team doesn't tell her to give up gardening. Instead, they work with her to rebuild trust in her body. She begins regular B12 injections followed by tablets, daily D3, a K2 supplement when safe, more leafy greens and some fermented foods, and short balance practices near a wall or sturdy surface. Half a year later, her garden is the same, her age is the same, but her steps are different. She still moves carefully, yet she no longer feels like every step is a negotiation with gravity. Nights are more restful, mornings are less stiff, and the simple joy of kneeling down to smell the soil and then standing up again returns. Think about a couple in their mid-60s who have turned magnesium into their nighttime ritual. They chew a gummy or swallow a tablet, hope for better sleep, and joke that this is their anti-aging plan. But both notice that getting up from the floor or carrying laundry baskets is becoming harder. They worry that if things continue this way, they will not be able to travel as they imagined. After a routine checkup, their doctor informs them that both are low in vitamin D and one has a mild B12 deficiency. Together, they choose to upgrade their nighttime ritual into something more intentional. They keep magnesium as a gentle helper, but add D3 and K2 with dinner, B12 for the one who needs it, and a 2-minute shared strength routine in the living room before bed. Standing up from chairs, slow squats to a safe height, a few heel raises at the back of the sofa. Over time, laundry baskets feel less like a threat, travel feels more realistic, and they notice something unexpected, a sense of being a team. They are not just getting older together, they are actively shaping how they age side by side. Finally, picture someone in their late 70s who has been labeled frail. They walk slowly, tire easily, and their nights are fragmented. It is easy for everyone around them to assume that this is simply the inevitable last stage of aging. A geriatric specialist decides to look deeper. They check vitamin D, B12, and indicators of vitamin K status, along with protein intake and daily activity. Several gaps appear. Instead of an aggressive program that would overwhelm this person, the team designs small but strategic changes, low doses of D3 and K2 adjusted over time, B12 replacement to correct a deficiency, modest protein goals at each meal, and tiny bits of strength work spread through the day, such as rising from a higher chair with support or marching in place while holding the kitchen counter. After 6 months, this person is not suddenly young again. But they walk with a more decisive step. They need less help to stand up, and their nights contain longer stretches of real sleep. What changed is not their age, but the respect given to the basic tools their muscles and nerves require to function. In all these stories, the same pattern appears. Magnesium has a role, but it is not the whole picture. The deeper levers for rebuilding muscle while you sleep are movement, protein, and key vitamins like D3, B12, and K2 working quietly in the background. It's important to say clearly, more is not always better. High doses of any nutrient, especially fat-soluble ones like vitamin D and K, can cause problems if taken without proper guidance. Vitamin K can interact with certain blood thinners. Vitamin D can accumulate if doses are too high for too long. Even B12, which is generally safe at wide ranges, should be part of a considered plan. Your body is unique, with its own history, medications, and conditions. Any change in supplements should be discussed with a professional who can look at the whole picture, not just one lab number. If everything we've explored had to be compressed into a single sentence, it could be this. After 60, protecting your muscles while you sleep is less about relying on one calming mineral and more about giving your body 3 quiet messengers, vitamin D3, vitamin B12, and vitamin K2, that tell every cell night after night, stay strong, rebuild, keep going. Aging does not mean the door to repair is closed. It means the body asks for clearer signals and better materials. Those signals are the way you move during the day, the protein you choose at your meals, and the nutrients you provide that allow that effort to become real strength. As you think about your own routine, you do not need to change everything at once. A powerful next step can be as simple as asking your healthcare provider 3 questions. Do you know my vitamin D level? Do you know my B12 level? Is vitamin K2 something we should talk about in my case? From there, you can build a plan that respects your specific needs. You might adjust your evening meal to include more protein, add a brief leg routine before bed, or revise your supplement list so that magnesium is part of a team, not a lonely soldier. And if someone you care about is over 60 and quietly afraid of getting weaker, you can share this perspective with them as a message of hope, not pressure. Your nights are not empty hours. They are a workshop where your future strength is quietly being shaped. With the right tools, even while you sleep, your body is still capable of working with you.